Sam Dickinson is sticking around, and boy, did he have a breakout game.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network, we cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're going to be talking about Sam Dickinson as he, one, plays his 10th NHL game, and two, has easily his best game in the NHL. So we'll be breaking down Sam's night, what this 10th game means for San Jose as they continue to now have to play contract juggling. We're going to talk about the consistency issues that we've seen from the Sharks as, again, the second period continues to haunt them where they just kind of fall asleep. And then we'll dig into the numbers of this game. So before we get to all that, I do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Sam Dickinson gets the news. He's sticking around. He played his 10th NHL game, therefore kicking in his entry-level contract. So Sam Dickinson on the books, now expected to be here for this season. He doesn't have to play this game of will he, won't he, are they going to send him back to London, all that fun stuff, are not really fun stuff. And like they could theoretically send him back to London at any time. But we've seen the way Mike Grier has been with handling contracts, and he's been, frankly, very shrewd with players, right? You remember Eklund, who played very well in the AHL, came up, played 8 games, but they didn't want him to play that 10th game and kick in his contract, despite probably being would have been one of the best players on the Sharks at the time. You've seen, just Grier being extremely almost ice cold about some of these contract decisions, acting in the best interest of the team. And for the Sharks, making this decision to keep Sam Dickinson here, it means that they believe he is going to be an NHL defenseman and this season and start to show signs of being a very good NHL defenseman. So just really quickly, because, as the whole contract thing. So with Dickinson now playing his 10th game, his contract goes in. The Sharks are now at 50 contracts. You can have 50 NHL contracts on your books. And this doesn't mean that everybody on that team is playing, right? A lot of these contracts for the Sharks are in the AHL now. You look at all the young players, like your Quentin Mussies, your Cardwell, I guess Cardwell's your Luca Canny, all these players who are, draft picks and expected to be part of the future. Those guys are all on NHL contracts. The Sharks, though, of course, you have Michael Misa, who's, going to be right behind Dickinson here and going to be playing presumably playing in his 10th game at some point soon. And as soon as Misa plays in his 10th game, his contract will officially kick in, and the Sharks will be at 51 of 50. So the Sharks will have to make a move here before Michael Misa plays in his 10th game because the Sharks need to get rid of one of these contracts. And they could always send Misa back before he plays his 10th game, but I think from what we've seen from Misa, how good he's been in a very limited role, and how the Sharks handled Will Smith last year, I think we all believe Misa's going to stick around, right? I think the Sharks here are in a position where they're going to have to move somebody, and whether it's one of the 9 NHL defensemen who are on the roster right now, or if the Sharks decide to move one of, I would presume, one of the kind of veteran AHL guys who are on the CUDA right now. a Bowers, LeBurge, one of those type of players, that would be your way to kind of to get Misa in. So there's still some contract finagling that the Sharks are going to have to do. So expect to see Misa, like the Misa decision, continue to get stretched out, giving Mike Grier as long as possible to make this decision. But I assume by the end of the week, we'll hopefully have some sort of clarification on what the Sharks are going to do here, especially with like a guy with Misa. So, but back to Sam Dickinson. So big game tonight. First of all, first goal in the NHL. If you watch the preview show, I did get that right. I thought this game was going to be way more high scoring than the 2-2 game that we got. And then, of course, the shootout for the Red Wings. But I did say Dickinson is getting his first point tonight. And it comes up at a big time as he scores his first goal late in the third period to tie things up for the San Jose Sharks. Dickinson just looked like a much more confident player, and a player that we saw at London, right? Where he's gonna make a couple mistakes and he's gonna be a little bit too aggressive at times, but you saw him just look like a different player. And I think just the weight of this decision coming off of him and not playing scared to make a mistake, right? And even I'm sure the Sharks told him, like, just play your game, but there's just going to be that natural, like, I don't want to screw up and lose my job here. Now that he doesn't have to worry about that, right, and it gets set back to London, and then have to kind of wait another season to even get to kind of really try this again. It looked like Dickinson was playing like the Sam Dickinson. If you've watched London for any sort of time, this was the Sam Dickinson that you saw at London, right? Doing, aggressive in the offensive zone, jumping in when it was the right decision. And you saw that tonight, right? The drive that he had on Talbot had a really, really good opportunity there, right? Taking those shots from the blue line. If he keeps shooting like that, you're going to start to see the production continue to roll in here. And then, of course, right, being Johnny on the spot there, he talked about, Will Smith making a great pass to him, but like, again, coming in and trying to kind of get this last goal and push for this goal to tie things up late. And the Sharks and Ryan Warsofsky rewarded him, right, by putting him out there in overtime. There was a time where you had Will Smith, age 20, Sam Dickinson, age 19, and Macklin Celebrini, age 19, all out on the ice at the same time in overtime. Like, what a world we live in. Where old man Will Smith out there trying to corral these youngsters in overtime. And, Warsofsky talked about tonight, like how Dickinson had his best game. And I think it's no coincidence that once he found out he's sticking around, and yes, he had rest yesterday and everybody else was in the second night of a back-to-back for the Sharks, but there's no, it's pretty simple to see why he's such a dynamic player. And I know the Sharks are running 11-7 tonight. The numbers are going to be all screwed up, but at 5-on-5, Sam Dickinson, when he was on the ice and for 14 minutes of 5-on-5, 65% Corsi-for, 17-9 shot attempts in favor of the Sharks when he was on the ice. And yes, like, he's definitely getting offensive zone starts, right? Like, he's getting, a good chunk of offensive zone starts compared to other players. Okay. Like, of course, right? That's you putting your young player in a position to succeed and build that confidence. But 65% court, like Mario Ferraro was next at 55, and then like Muka Majulin was above 50%, and then all the other defensemen were below 50% tonight when it came to Corsi-for when they were on the ice. Dickinson, like, is very good, and he was on the ice for both goals at, of course, at 5-on-5. Like, expected goals for when he was on the ice was 0.63. That it was the best on the team. And, expected goals allowed, he was at 0.44, which is actually kind of was in the lower third. And again, I know his limits or his minutes are limited and stuff, but when Sam Dickinson's on that ice, good things tend to happen for the Sharks, especially offensively. And this is just going to be another layer for the Sharks. And I think now the next thing is him continuing to string these types of games together. And then hopefully right now you start to earn some power play time and start to kind of see his minutes, start to creep up around, that 17, 18 minute mark and continue to build on this. But great night for Sam Dickinson, and hopefully the first of many great nights for Sam Dickinson. And yes, I know the Sharks lost 3-2. We'll get to that part here, but you have to start with Dickinson, who had his breakout game and this game that we've been kind of waiting for him. And it's just nice to see that 10th game. Dickinson rewards San Jose with their faith in him with a monster performance from him. So we'll break down kind of the struggles for consistency. We'll talk about some of the other players here as well. So we'll get to that in just 1 second. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets to a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And if you're anything like me, you can't even name all your financial accounts, let alone what they're worth between 401ks, savings, investments. It's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's where Monarch comes in, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Great thing with Monarch is you can reorganize all your accounts, track your spending, even get a better handle on your investments without ever having to touch a spreadsheet. Monarch's visual dashboards and smart tools make it so much easier to understand where your money's going and how it can work harder for you. It's like your own personal Puckpedia. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. All right, before we continue, of course, want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. If you haven't yet, perfect time to subscribe. We'll have reactions after every game. Of course, we're going to be covering the Sharks' best prospect pool in the NHL and Barracuda coverage, plus some fun interviews coming up as well. So make sure you're following along wherever you get podcasts. And, of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. All right. Actually, before we get to struggles and stuff, quick, just kind of programming note. I will be basically off the grid for Monday, Tuesday, and I'll be home Wednesday evening in time for the Sharks game. So there's an episode scheduled for Tuesday. It's already recorded, ready to go. You can see what it's all about on YouTube. Spoiler, we talk about the Sharks free agents that they signed, but no episode Wednesday morning or Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. We'll have reactions after on Wednesday after the game. So I'll be basically off the grid. If the Sharks do anything trade-wise, anything like that, I'll cover it as soon as I get back. But yes, off the grid for a couple days is a much needed little mini vacation. But anyway, Sharks struggling with consistency. It is becoming a bit of a trend for San Jose, especially throughout the early on in the season here. And it is that second period where the Sharks just kind of fall asleep a little bit, right? And they just and I know, again, second night of a back-to-back. You went to overtime yesterday. You played a very good team in the Colorado Avalanche. You're playing another very good team in the Detroit Red Wings. But this was a performance where it felt like if the Sharks could just kind of get some more pucks on net, and like that's the one. Like I'm not criticizing Celebrini and stuff like that, but with these type of players, right, is sometimes they do go for that like one more pass and try to do one thing a little too many, right? And instead of just kind of getting the puck on net and just getting some shots on goal, especially when, again, the Sharks who have now struggle at times to get shots on goal. Right, they had 5 shots on goal in the first, 4 in the second, yes, and 7 in the third, and then 2 in overtime. Like, just go for a little bit more volume, especially when like you're getting outshot 14-4 in the second period. So I think that's going to be kind of the next thing for San Jose as they continue to learn how to win games. And right, they've been getting points, and if you told me they got 5 points out of this 4-game homestand like beforehand, I would have been ecstatic, right? I mean, especially with who they were playing. Big, Detroit, it's a good team. You got a point, and you went to a shootout in this game, right? You went to the skills competition in this game and had multiple chances to win this game. Colorado, excellent team. The Devils, excellent team as well. You won some big games here, some games you maybe didn't deserve to win. You had that Kings game where you probably should have won, and if you got a save at some point. And so, things kind of even out a little bit here. But I think that's where, like, you hear it on the broadcast, right? Just to simplify your game and stuff. This is where, with Smith and Celebrini, especially, where they're going to do cool stuff, right? They're going to do cool stuff, but sometimes it's that kind of pulling them back a little bit of like, okay, like, guys, I get it, but right now we just need to get some pucks on that. We just need to kind of test Talbot a little bit here and just try to just get some quantity instead of just always looking for that quality shot. So, but that will come, right? And that's that consistency thing of night in, night out, period in, period out, shift after shift, stringing together these type of good plays. And like, you don't want to take away the creativity of Celebrini and Smith. But every once in a while, you gotta be like, guys, just shoot the puck. Like, just get the puck on net. And because you never know what happens, right? Like, weird bounces. We've seen it a million times. Weird bounces, weird things happen. Sometimes just shoot the puck a little bit more. So one person who was starting to build some consistency, though, is Mr. Alexander Nedelkovic. Strong performance from Ned tonight, as he was a big reason why the Sharks were in this game, especially early on. Again, just can you start on time here? Nedelkovic, 29 saves on 31 shots, 2 goals allowed on a 3.1 expected goals for. This is all situations here. 935 save percentage, 9 of 9 on high danger, 7 of 8 on mid danger, and 12 of 13 on low danger. And even the 2 goals that he gave up were just absolutely beautiful goals. That Raymond shot was, both of them just had that beautiful, like, there's nothing better than a puck hitting even if it happens against you, right? Just that sound of the puck hitting the post or the bar and going in, that like patink type of sound. It's anybody can, if you're like, as a hockey fan, as I assume you are listening to this show, how satisfying that sound is. And sometimes you just got to tip your hat. And that, especially that Raymond shot, was an absolute, just like, he could not have walked up and put the puck there like any better. Like, that was just a special shot from a special player, and Lucas Raymond, who's had a little bit of a slow start, but is a special player. That was just ridiculous there. And even the Mo Sider play, like that, his goal again, that's just a ridiculous shot. Like, if it's like half an inch higher, it bounces off the crossbar and it's it's not in. Like, that was, or if it's a half an inch lower, it probably hits Nedelkovic. Like, he again put that right where it had to be. And sometimes there's nothing you can do. But Nedelkovic was huge tonight, made some big saves, especially in overtime. He had a couple of big time chances as the Sharks were again kind of stuck in their own zone. But overall, like, Nedelkovic, now Askarov's put together some good games as well. Like, it does feel like this goaltending is starting to kind of figure things out for the Sharks. And as I said before the season, if the Sharks can get anywhere near like average goaltender play, like, they're going to start to win a bunch of games here. And I think you're starting to see that, right? The team's starting to kind of get some goaltending. The defense starting to kind of come together a little bit. And then the Sharks are, have been competitive, and they've been in every one of these games basically since, you look at, I guess, the Coyotes game, right? Or not the Coyotes, the Mammoth game. the Sharks have been in every one of these games and had chances to win every one of these games. And that's a big step from where this team was last year, right? Where of course, you're going to have some stinkers, but it seems like you're getting less and less of these stinkers from the Sharks and just more and more competitive games. So, this team is being that's all we can ask for right now is just this team to continue to try to kind of figure things out here. So, we're going to dig into the numbers, how William Eklund's absence really did not help the Wenberg line. So we'll try to put together some lines, see how they performed, look at everybody's numbers. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. Hockey season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can sometimes be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it is easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in. The app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. We use Game Time anytime we go up to the Bay Area to go catch Sharks games. We're going in December, as we always do around the holidays. It's a family tradition in our house to go see a game right around the Christmas time. We use it to get great tickets. They have zone deals, which is a total game changer. You can pick your section, and then Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. You could even find NHL tickets for under $25. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go. Plus, I'm also super excited to tell you about my favorite jeanswear brand, Doer. I've been living in their performance denim straight jeans, and honestly, they've completely changed the game for me. I love my Doer jeans because, one, they look great on me, if I do say so myself. But two, they're also really comfortable. They feel stretchy without actually looking stretchy. The jeans are made with Cool Max that regulates your body temperature and wicks moisture. So even though we're starting to get into the winter months here, you can still wear them during the summer. They're designed to look great and stay comfortable all day, no matter what you're doing. And there's a reason why they call them the world's most comfortable pants. But don't take my word for it. Go check out a pair for yourself. Doer opened up a store in Hayes Valley so you can feel the difference firsthand. Check them out at 567 Hayes Street. Mention our promo code LOCKEDONSF in store to get 15% off your first order, or check them out online at shopdoer.com/LockedOnSF for 15% off. That's shopdoer.com/LockedOnSF. All right, before we finish up, I do want to thank you, of course, for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. If you haven't yet, go check out the Locked On NHL game night. Every game, every night until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find Locked On NHL game night wherever you listen to podcasts. And, of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. So let's dig into the numbers of this game. So very much, again, kind of close. It's just you wanted to see the Sharks kind of take advantage of some opportunities. And a team where I know the Red Wings are off to a great start, but if you watch the preview episode, these teams are way closer than you kind of expected, especially for a Red Wings team who's up near the top of the standings and a Sharks team that is kind of down at the bottom. And yes, the Sharks still, their goals allowed, et cetera, et cetera. I get it. But the offenses are similar. The special teams are pretty similar. It felt like an opportunity for the Sharks to steal another one here, and they just weren't able to. So 52 minutes of 5-on-5. The shot attempts were 54-42 in favor of the Red Wings. Actual shots at 5-on-5, 24-14. That's the big discrepancy is the Red Wings were getting more shots on goal, while the Sharks just couldn't generate shots on goal, especially in the third period, where the shot attempts were similar. It was 20-16, but 13-3 actual shots on goal at 5-on-5. And yes, I know the Red Wings scored once there, But like that's an opportunity, I think, where you like if that's a little bit more even and the way the Sharks were kind of playing this game, and some of the quality chances that they were creating, if you that's a little bit more evened out, that's where we're talking about a 3-2 Sharks win instead of a 3-2 overtime or shootout loss. So, and like we've been seeing this trend of the second period, specifically where the Sharks just kind of struggle to maintain that momentum. So, scoring chances were 18-15 in favor of the Red Wings. High danger chances 8-4, 2.23 to 0.95 expected goals for in favor of the Red Wings, and then 2-2 goals at 5-on-5. The Sharks were running 11-7 tonight, so the lines are going to be a hot mess here. So we'll kind of try to piece together who played with who for the good chunks of it. So Smith, Celebrini, Toffoli played 13-39, 11-13 shot attempts, 5-5 actual shots, 0.08 to 0.28 expected goals for, 4-6 scoring chances, 0-3 high danger chances. Also, that Celebrini Mo Sider battle, just great hockey right there. Just great hockey of just two young, like absolute, like budding superstars going at it right there. And just, yeah, the league is in great hands, guys. The league is in great hands. Skinner, Wenberg, Khrushchev. So, of course, Eklund was out tonight with a lower body. They're saying it's kind of day to day, and especially with the Sharks having a couple days off before they kind of have another 3 and 4 days. I could see why maybe San Jose kind of picked this opportunity to see if they can get him better and get him ready for Wednesday's game. If not, get him ready for Friday's game, kind of give him a little bit of time here off to kind of get healthy. But Skinner gets a goal tonight, much needed for him. Wenberg and Khrushchev, they played 10-40, 7-14 shot attempts, 5-6 actual shots. Had a goal, gave up a goal, 0.22 to 0.38 expected goals for, 2-2 scoring chances, 2-1 high danger chances. So like this line was again kind of that quality over quantity, but with having Skinner, who's been mainly on the third line, kind of playing up a line now, and without Eklund there to kind of be that play driver / puck protector / distributor that he is on this line, it just didn't feel as effective. Wenberg, though, played a ton tonight, was all over the ice. I thought Wenberg had a really solid game tonight, especially defensively. You saw some of the plays he made, and Khrushchev had some chances to, take this thing in his own hands at points, but you really feel like with Eklund that really kind of he's kind of the straw that stirs the drink for this line. So again, Skinner played well, but there's a reason why William Eklund's William Eklund. So Graf, Delandria, Cardwell played 852, 8-9 shot attempts, 2-4 actual shots, 0.02 to 0.44 expected goals for, 2-4 scoring chances. This line had a couple good opportunities tonight as well. There was like one shift where they were really kind of laying it on the Red Wings and just weren't able, again, just not getting enough kind of quality shots. But Cardwell continues to look like he should always be the next. Well, he should be on the roster, but looks like he should be kind of that next guy up, especially when one of the bottom 6 players is unavailable, and that kind of do it all mentality. Same thing with Graf, where there's these kind of like Swiss Army knife type of players. And I cannot wait until we get the Graf Cardwell penalty kill combo, because that is going to feed families here. So, and then we had Goodrow, Delandria, Giles. Giles I thought was okay as well. He had a couple good, moments here and there. Goodrow, kind of doing Barclay Goodrow things as well. So that line only played 151, and they were outshot shot attempts were 0-3, but nothing really came of it as well. So defensively, since we were running 7 pairs, I kind of went through some of the Corsi stuff already, but Dickinson led the way with, like I said, 65% Corsi-for at 14 minutes of 5-on-5. Ferraro was next at 55%. Also, really quick shout out to Ferraro. I know must have been a tough night with him. Like, it's good. It's so awesome to see like how he, with the hockey fights cancer, he just, when they were, Tara Sloan was kind of rattling off all the names that have been with Ferraro. It's just like dude, those are a lot of people. That's, like his billet mom and a lot of his family who's kind of gone, battled with cancer. And good to see, him doing the ceremonial puck drop and stuff like that. So, and Ferraro played a good game tonight. So, 55% Corsi-for. Muka Madulin, who needs to continue to get more ice time. He's since his return from injury, Muka Madulin, you could argue it's probably Orlov, Muka Madulin as your top defenseman right now. Muka Madulin has been stellar. He was at 51% Corsi-for. He was driving play tonight, was doing all good stuff as well. Klingberg, who continues to be John Klingberg with some up and down moments, 45% Corsi-for. Desharnais, who I think he was with Dickinson getting more ice time, Desharnais was the guy who kind of lost a lot of his ice time, 42%. And I would assume if Dickinson's going to start being in the lineup more often, you're probably going to see less and less of Desharnais here. Orlov at 32% and Liljegren at 24%. I was actually surprised Liljegren played after getting a puck to the face yesterday. I assume they probably put him in a concussion protocol and everything, but good to see him back out there. But overall, felt like an opportunity where you had a chance to maybe kind of steal another game here. But, as the Sharks, again, you got 5 points in 8 out of 8 on this 4-game homestand. And I think it's safe to say this team is starting to kind of put things together here a little bit and should feel really good about their play and where they're headed here. Another tough week where you get more opportunities to kind of see what this team is made of. But I think if they keep playing like this, you're going to start to see more and this team start to kind of stack up some more points. And, that goal of playing 500 hockey, I think is realistically in sight here for San Jose. So we'll be back tomorrow. Like I said, we're going to be kind of looking at how all the Sharks offseason acquisitions have done early part of the season. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until tomorrow. Bye, friends.